If you're still explaining, justifying, and nervously giggling through your boundaries, then they are not boundaries, they are negotiations. And the truth is, people can feel that. But in today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to make people instantly respect your limits without feeling guilty, without over-explaining yourself, or without shrinking yourself down. Now, for a lot of people, we feel that setting boundaries or telling people how we want to be treated requires raising your voice, requires shouting, or requires being aggressive. The truth is, you don't have to do any of that. You don't even have to go out of character to make people actually respect you. There was a time in my life where I felt I needed to raise my voice to make people respect the boundaries that I set. However, I realized that I was constantly going out of character, and there is nothing that makes me uncomfortable. I don't know if you can relate to this or if this has happened to you at any point, where people poke your button, trigger you, get under your skin. Next thing you realize is that you're going out of character. You're stepping out of that woman that you are. And when you finally react to that situation or to that person, when you take a step back, you look at yourself and you say, why did I let myself get to this level? And that's why setting boundaries matters. That's why drawing a line as to how you want to be treated is so important. I've broken the lessons into 3 parts. We're going to look at mindset, language, and behavior, because these 3 areas are the areas that you need to focus on. One day someone said to me, Cmor, if your boundary comes with an apology, then that's not a boundary. It's a plea. And that was when I realized that I needed to shift not only the words that I use in verbalizing these boundaries, I also needed to work on my mindset. I needed to work on my energy, the presence that I exude when I actually say how I want to be treated. The truth is, the world respects what you respect. When you treat yourself a certain way, the world follows suit with it. And when you use your words to soften your boundaries, you create a platform for people to actually test those boundaries. Part 1 is mindset, how you see yourself. The first thing you must understand is that boundaries are standards, they're not barriers. Boundary is not a wall. It's not a cage where you put yourself in. Rather, it's a filter that helps you filter through what you would allow, what you protect, what should come to your space and what should stay out. In real sense, your boundaries are how you see yourself, how you treat yourself first, which now becomes a reflective mirror to others on how they should treat you. To start to filter through what you allow into your life, what you consume, how you protect yourself. That's what your boundaries are. Number 2, people don't respect explanation. They respect certainty. No is a full sentence. You do not need to put a reason behind your no. You do not need to explain why you have said no to someone. And there's a lot of confidence that comes from saying no and putting a full stop there. You see, every time we feel the need to explain why we are turning someone down or why we're saying no to someone, we are invariably telling them that, well, a part of me don't want to say no to you because of this reason and this reason. And that's not the case. The word no is a full sentence, and when you say it with certainty, say it with confidence, say it because you believe that that's the response you want to give. But 3, your time, your energy, your emotional stability are so sacred, and it's your responsibility to protect it, to protect yourself from negativity, from toxicity, from people who just takes from you. Number 4, your boundary is a self-definition, not a rejection. Sometimes we feel that we are mean because we set boundaries and some people are offended by it. No. Anyone who is offended by the fact that you have set boundaries for yourself, just know this. You are not being rude. It's simply because they have benefited from your lack of it. Your boundaries should not make anyone offended. Your boundaries should not make you feel less of yourself. Your boundaries should not make you feel that you are being rude, you're being uptight, you're being impossible. Absolutely not. Your boundaries is supposed to show people the self-worth that you have for yourself, the value that you place on yourself. Now, we have broken down part 1 of how to actually set boundaries, and all of this is based on your mindset, how you see yourself. Now we're going to part 2, your language, what you say when you're setting these boundaries. First thing you want to pay attention to in part 2 is learn how to use the no period rule. You say no, let it end there. Do not feel a need to add to your no. A lot of times when we say no and there's an awkward silence after that, because we're uncomfortable with silence, we feel a need to fill up the space with unnecessary explanation. That's when you start to share too much of yourself. 2, say it with warm finality. You can have a soft voice. You can say what you want to say with a soft voice and a firm edge. And this means you really don't need to be aggressive when you're setting your boundaries or when you are communicating what you want. But you can be assertive and still be warm at the same time. When you want to say something in a soft, warm finality, you can say, that doesn't work for me, but I hope you find a great solution. Number 3, replace apologies with appreciation. If you haven't offended anyone, if you haven't done anything wrong, stop apologizing. Stop leading with apology, rather lead with appreciation. Instead of saying, sorry, I can't make it, you can simply say, thank you for the invitation, but I'll sit this one out. It's better when you use that, you start with appreciation than actually apologizing, because in the real sense, what are you apologizing for? What have you done? Nothing. Number 4, use the preference pivot. Instead of justifying your no, instead of jumping into an explanation as to why you have said no to something, rather share your preference. So when you say, no, I'm not available for that. I prefer not to pick calls after 6 p.m. I have given you a no assertively, and I have some way set my boundaries. There is nothing as powerful as learning how to shift your language. Because when you master how to use powerful phrases to project yourself, to present yourself, you attract not only the respect that you deserve, you attract opportunities. Now we're moving to the part 3, and this is behavior. What you do. You know, it's one thing for you to say something. It's another for you to think about something. It's a different ball game when your behavior, your body language aligns with your words and your thoughts. First thing I want you to pay attention to, learn to hold the line after you set it. You see, respect is built in repetition. When you set a boundary, you have to consistently make sure that you are holding that line and repeating that boundary. And this is because your boundary is only as strong as the second time someone tests it. But 2, detach from the reaction. You see, every time we set boundaries and we meet people who like to cross that line. However, when you want to build boundaries that people respect, you need to learn that their discomfort is not your problem. Your job is not to manage their feeling, it's to honor your own. Number 3, exit gracefully, not gradually. Now, if people are constantly overstepping your boundaries, if people are crossing the lines, what you must understand is that you do not need drama. What you need is distance. Because why do you want to hold on to someone who disrespects you? What you want to do is gracefully detach yourself from such situation. Rather than being that drama, create distance. Number 4, model it, don't just say it. If you remember in the beginning of the video, I talked about the fact that boundaries are not just the list of rules and regulations for people to follow. They are rules and regulations for you to follow, which means if you want people to treat you in a certain way, you have to stand up to the same standards that you have set for others. Treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. When you do not want to be treated in a certain way, don't treat yourself the same way. When you want to be treated in a certain way, make sure that you are treating yourself exactly the way you want others to treat you, because it is what they see you do with you that actually determines how they replicate, how they mirror all of that with you. Now, here is what I want you to remember and hold on to. Boundaries are one of the highest form of self-respect. You don't need to defend it. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to soften it. You just need to honor it for yourself first, and every other person will follow suit. I hope all of that resonated with you. Let me know in the comment section, what area of your life do you struggle to set boundaries? Maybe we can do a video answering questions in those areas. Thank you for watching.